This is the newly launched Mario 5 5-inch frame kit from Speedybee that costs a remarkable $34. And don't be fooled, cheap is not cheerful. This is a very well made and very robust frame that joins my ever-increasing fleet of drones from Speedybee, the B35 and the Master 5 HD, which are fantastic. So, let's take a look and see what comes with this kit and how it screws together. Hello, and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. Now, one of the great things I really like about Speedybee frames is they don't follow what everybody else is doing. They come up with their own designs and innovations that aren't just copies or inspired by type designs. They've done that with the Mario 5. They did the same thing with the Speedybee B35. And same goes for the Master 5 HD. I really love this quad. It really is a fantastic 5-inch quad. It's going to be interesting to see how this performs in comparison. So what we've got here is all the frame parts. You get 3 plates that all slot together with various bolts. You get all the hardware here and some standoffs. These are beautifully made. This bottom plate has got a couple of cutouts here with these little slotted pieces that fit in. They say it's sandwiched between. Get those in there, like that. And this little sort of cavity here is a nice little place that they've designed in so that you can put your low ESR noise suppression capacitor in there out of the way so it's not going to get banged or knocked, which is quite a nice feature. There's some press nuts in here. And this is the top plate. Top plate takes this TPU printed GoPro mount and just slots in there like that. Now the slightly odd thing is that even if you don't want a GoPro, you still have to put that in, otherwise you're going to have a gaping great hole sitting at the front there. Anyway, it fits beautifully. These are really nicely printed, I have to say, in signature Speedybee yellow, which I really like. They've taken the unusual step that you can get this frame in a number of different options. One of those is having the light version, and the light version doesn't come with any of these 3D printed parts, but they provide all the STL files for every combination that you would want for these different adapters. GoPro mount, there's a front bumper here. That's a little plate for mounting the receiver between the 2 plates like that, which is quite nice. It's got holders for your antennas to stick out of the side. And this is a rear plate that takes this XT60 plug and that slots in there. You just pull that apart and then you can squeeze that in there. So that nicely keeps that contained. And cleverly you can have this at the back like this and have your wires going onto your usually your 4-in-1 ESC, which you've got down here, or they've made provision on the GoPro mount at the front. So if you want to, you can take your battery lead out this way and have an extra regular XT60 coming out of the front. So you've got a bit of a choice there. But I think the option of having it at the back is very good. As well as these 3D printed parts, they've also got different combinations of things as one to take a GPS module or whatever you like. So it's sort of like they're trying to open source this and encourage people to share their 3D prints, which I think is a nice idea. This is the DC version, which is DC for Dead Cat. So the idea with these, as you can see, these are the front arms. They're going to stick like that and the props are going to be out of view. There is an XT version, I believe it's called, where it's more of a traditional X design. And this method of interlocking arms, I have seen this before, and I think this type of thing was piloted on some of like the AOS drones, which is a nice way of doing things. So the idea is that you've got 3 bolts that hold this sandwich between a couple of plates like that. If you break one of the arms, you only have to undo 2 of the screws. You can just take that out and then just screw that back in. Quite nice. Then these mount on the back like that. You can see sort of like dead cat arrangement that you've got there, which is very nice. And thickness of these, I think, is 6 mil. Yeah, 6 millimeters. So these are pretty stiff, and I think this arrangement of sandwiching things and having the interlocking arms is going to make this really very stiff. And these frame parts, I think 2.5 mil, 2.5, and I think this feels a little bit thinner. That is 2 mil. But the quality of these really is up to a very high standard. You get the usual range of mounting hardware. There's some standoffs, you get all the different screws. Then the arrangement at the front is these very nice CNC machined parts with almost like the diamond cut edge on them. These are just, they're metal, they're not plastic. And then you've got these TPU brackets here, so you can mount your camera on those. Whichever way around they go, that way around, there we go. Now there's different thicknesses of these to accommodate different camera widths. You can see these have got different width chamfers on them, just down there. You get a sticky battery pad, which is very nice, which sticks on the top plate, presumably over there somewhere, like that. All nicely cut out. And the other thing I really like about this is I've always had a bit of a problem with countersunk screws in carbon fibre. I find, although it looks nice and you've got nice countersunk screws in there, it looks very sort of like just very sweet, I found that it does encourage delamination of the carbon fibre. So I'm pleased to see that they haven't gone down the countersunk route, although there are slight recesses here where the bolts go through. So there's a little bit of recess there as well. It's all very nicely done, and there's no sort of nasty edges on that. We've also got these pieces that mount at the side, at the front, which are apparently there to encourage cooling and airflow down through the body to keep mainly your O3 air unit or whatever you're using cool. Whether that's just a gimmick or whether they actually work, I really couldn't say. Although one thing which looks like a gimmick but it's not is this little piece here. One of the problems normally when you've got a frame and you've got your receiver sitting in, it would normally sit in here, down in there somewhere. You've got your battery sitting on top. You can't see the status of the LEDs on your receiver. The idea with this is you bolt that in there and you'll be able to see the LEDs with that little sort of translucent little cover there. Don't quite understand what that cutout is there. I really don't know what it is. It's nicely cut out. It's beautifully machined and that fits in, but I don't quite know what it does. Maybe that will come to light later on. And anything else? Oh yes, you get these arms protectors, and these aren't 3D printed, these are injection molded. Although I noticed the STL files that you can download do include these arm protectors as well, but these are injection molded, the ones that you get. They provide a little sort of stubby antenna connector there, but this is designed, this particular back mount here is designed really for DJI, and that pushes in there, and you've got a couple of sort of mounting sort of grub screws there as well, which is a nice little feature. That pushes up inside. There's a nice way to mount your O3 air unit antenna. And I think that is about it. So I'm going to screw this together, see how well it goes, and if I find it anything unusual, I will let you know. Well, there we have it in all its glory. Looking fantastic. Matches quite nicely with the rest of the Speedybee family with the nice yellow 3D printed parts. I think it looks fantastic. And you can see here we've got the dead cat style. Those props are not going to be in view, which is fantastic. Everything's screwed together beautifully, I have to say. The only thing I would say is that getting these bottom two plates together was a little bit fiddly. You have to get them in place. You have to line the plate that's in here with the slots that have been CNC'd out in these two plates. Get everything lined up. I found the best way to do it was to put these two screws in first, and those go into the press nuts inside, and then just wiggle everything into place. Because not only do those plates there act as a little cage for the low ESR noise suppression capacitor that fits in there, but they also stop the arms wiggling this way. Another bit of strength that is putting into the frame itself. Once you get everything in, just make sure they're all screwed in lightly, and then you can clamp it all up. Just make sure that those are in their slots. Other than that, it was extremely straightforward, and I only had to refer to the instructions a couple of times. If you can see, we've got the nice mounts on the front here, these metal CNC mounts for the camera, and these are different size 3D printed parts. There's another two in the box, and these accommodate different sizes of camera, so you should be able to fit anything in there, whether it's DJI, O3, Walksnail, HD0, whatever you like. Nice little bumper on the front. On the back, there's plenty of room to fit your VTX in here. Flight stack, they provide a couple of these screws for securely nice solid mounts, and then you can soft mount your stack in here. These are just short of the top frame, which is good. Then we've got the little transparent sort of slot at the bottom here so that you can see the LEDs on your receiver, which is nice. I fitted this back plate, which has got the part here to hold the DJI antenna and the XT60, and there are other versions, but this mount here that I've got allows you to fit something like the diversity receivers that I have and I use on the Radio Master receivers, the RP3 and the new diversity, mounting them at sort of opposite angles so you get the best performance out of them. So that works quite nicely. I've just temporarily mounted these on here, but I think these are exactly the same size as the ones that come on the Master 5. So I may print up some yellow ones to match the rest of the frame itself. It does feel very solid, and I think a lot of that is down to having the interlocking arms in here. And although the proof of the pudding is actually getting out flying, this does feel quite promising. And I'm not going to build this up with a stack of motors and so on just yet, because there is absolutely no chance of going flying in, well, it doesn't seem like for the next month probably. The weather here in the UK is particularly awful. But as and when things pick up, maybe in early spring, I will get some stuff bolted in here and we'll get it out and get it flying and see how it performs and see what the black box logs are like. These protection pieces on the side here, they're designed, so they say, to suck air in the front so that it keeps the stack and the VTX cool. I'm not so sure. They look fantastic. Whether they will actually direct the air round here, I don't know. There's so much stuff around here that's generating all sorts of weird airflows. I don't think that'll make a lot of difference. Plenty of space inside here to mount your VTX in the back, whether it's Walksnail, HD0 or DJI, doesn't matter. Plenty of room in there. They provide a couple of these long screws that go through the press nuts to mount your stack on. This is a 30.5 square mount, but I'm sure you could make up an adapter if you wanted to fit something a little bit smaller. And these are just shy of the top of the frame there, so they're not catching on there. And you get this little non-slip battery pad, nicely laser cut out, and that is very nicely put together. So there we have it, yet another very promising looking frame from Speedybee that delivers remarkable value for money. And I can't wait for the weather to pick up so I can get a stack and some motors on here to get it out flying and see whether it performs like I think it's going to perform. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up and maybe leave me a comment and let me know what you think about this remarkable frame. And if you're new here, subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.